3 boards that are ready to be glued up, except that there's a little bit of roughness left over from the jointer and from the table saw. So I'm just going to put them together here and go over them quickly with a sander with some medium grit sandpaper. And the only thing I want to make sure of is that I do not round over the corners. So I want to keep the sander nice and flat on top of it and not tip it like that. So now we're ready to do our glue up. I've covered my table with a large piece of cardboard that I use for painting and many other purposes. And I have these 2 very large pipe clamps. I have 2 on the bottom and 1 for the top. You notice that I've put a piece of blue tape on the bar of each of these clamps. That's to keep any glue from dripping on here and messing up the clamp itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put my pieces of wood into the vise here. I'd really like to have the grain match, grain and the color. So what I'll do is I'll experiment around. Okay, that matches better there. And if I turn this one over, it matches much better there. You want to make it hard to see where the joints are between the wood. Once you get it the way you want, you just take a pencil, like I did already on this, and just make this V shape on here. Now when you're picking the wood up and you're smearing glue in here, you don't get one this way and that way. It's a lot easier to keep track of which one is supposed to be where. And if it's a very important glue up, I may not want to have these ends aligned just right. I might find that, gee, the grain matches better if I do like that, and I'll just lose a little bit of wood off of each end. Now, the glue that we're going to be using is called Titebond 3. Titebonds are very, very strong glues for wood, and the Titebond 3 is nice because it's completely waterproof. So if I was doing a project that was going to be outside, like a sign, I'd use the Titebond 3. In this case, it's never going to be exposed to water, so that doesn't matter. But the Titebond 3 sets up more slowly than the Titebond 2 does. So from the time I start putting the glue on to the time it starts to set up, I have about 10 minutes of working time. That's not very much time, so I'll have to be working fast. And one of the things about a glue up is they're messy. So I have a wet rag standing by. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stand these 2 pieces of wood up on the edge like this. And I'm going to smear Titebond wood glue down here. Just like that. And smear it around there. Didn't get enough on there that time. You want to make sure that you have plenty of glue running now. So I'm going to put this one down here. Put this one down, put them together, and rub them back and forth a little bit to smear the glue around. I'm just going to put plenty of glue on it. Because you really want to make sure that you work the glue into the wood grain itself. And you can see the glue is getting on the clamps. Now I'll put these in here like this. Now I can put a little bit of gentle pressure, very gentle pressure, on the wood. And you should see squeeze out, that's what this is called, along the entire joint. If you don't get squeeze out over the entire joint, you didn't use enough glue. So I'm just going to wipe off some of the excess here. Now, I'm going to take this clamp and lay it on top. Got 2 clamps underneath, 1 clamp on top. But I have not really tightened them up very much yet because I want to put these boards on each end. 1 underneath, 1 on top, just like that. I want to make sure that the ends of the boards stay lined up with each other. They say that you can never have enough clamps in a wood shop, and I totally believe it. And again, you'll notice the blue tape on the cauls. That's what these are called, is cauls. But the purpose of that tape is so that these cauls do not become part of your project. You get a bunch of glue on there, and this glue is extremely strong. It's stronger than the wood is itself. But because I'm putting the tape on it, I can always break it off. I have my ends clamped together so they cannot move. So this board cannot come up and this one down like that. Now I can put a little bit more pressure on. I'm not trying to really squeeze the life out of this because I do want the glue to stay in there. Just want to make sure there's absolutely no gap. So just some gentle but very firm pressure all the way around. Go back and wipe off the excess here. And I'll feel down along these boards right here. And just to feel along them and make sure they're lined up. So nothing is, this was not higher than that one. If it was, I would have to come back, loosen the clamps up, push it down, and then reclamp it. In this case, everything feels really good. I probably have a big mess underneath, so I'm going to try to turn this over. And yes, it is very heavy. So now you can see the squeeze out all along the joints. The Tight Bond 3 says that you need to leave it clamped for at least 45 minutes. But it also says that it only gains full strength after 24 hours. I really don't want to work with it until it is at full strength. So what we'll do is we'll just come back tomorrow night and finish this up. So it's the next day now. So this has had almost 24 hours to fully cure. So let's start taking the clamps off and see what we have. The only reason I can get it off is because of the tape. Alright. Take all the clamps off. There we have it. A little bit of glue mess with a nice, flat, wide board. So now we need to clean up this board a little bit. So I'm going to have to work with a sharp wood chisel and sandpaper. So I just take the wood chisel and just try to scrape off any excess glue. Just going to look for things that stick way up. They're easy to shave off, but hard to sand off. And it's coming off reasonably well. The sharper your chisel, the better. I'm working at a very low angle to try to not dig into the wood. And of course this chisel is very sharp also, so I need to make sure I keep my fingers out of the way of it just like I would a power tool. So now I'll take the sander with a medium grit sandpaper and go over this just to remove any kind of glue residue and smooth out the surface. The smoother the surface, the easier it'll be to transfer the image to the wood. Alright, so that's looking pretty good. And so I'll just do it on the other side and then we'll come back. Okay, I think I'll just trim off the end of this board. Now one thing that I said earlier was that you always use your protective equipment. But in the previous scene, you probably saw me not wearing my safety glasses. Should have told me about that. If you ever see anyone not wearing their safety glasses, remind them to put them on. Because you never know when a machine is going to throw chips of wood and there's no reason to get hurt. So this time, safety glasses go on, hearing protection goes on, hands stay out of the way, and we make a cross cut.